Seriously, how do you like D&D so far? I really like it, and I've grown to. I'm really curious about D&D actually. Like, I started watching more people's runs of it because I'm like, how do other people do it? Like, I think the hardest thing for me is getting, like, knowing when to speak and how I can speak, and like when is like, what can I do? Like, Toast always does these like checks. Like, I'd like to, or Broden, like they're asking about things they can do. And I didn't know, like, I don't know when I can do certain things. So this is just stuff I'm learning as I'm like, I mean, it's my first day. And yeah, so it was really, really, really fun though. Like, I think it's definitely out of my comfort zone. Definitely. But like, I feel great about it. Like, I'm nervous about it for sure. But I'm definitely happy I'm giving it a chance. And it's something that, like, you know, I get nervous about it for sure. Arcadum's insane. I love Sako. I love the owlbear. That it's really fun to play off of that. I just don't know, like, I guess it's all RP, right? And anything can happen. So I guess it's just me trying to be in character at the same time as trying to learn and understand what the heck I can even do and what how to play the game. So that does take me out of character a bit when I'm trying to think of, like, look, like I'm clicking, like while people are talking, I'm like clicking on my skills. Like, what does this do again? What does that do? When can I use that? So then I'm like, oh wait, like, so I did find myself slipping, like, you know, like obviously not as fully immersed at times, but there were times that, like, I think a scene went really well or it was really fun. So, I'm really happy I'm giving it a chance because my only impression of D&D was when I was in high school. And I had a friend named Allison, and I was at her place a lot. And her dad would always leave the house with a cape on. And I was like, what is your dad doing? And she's like, he's going to play D&D. And I'm like, well, that. He literally had a cape and, like, oh, I don't even know, a bunch of stuff. And he's like leaving the house. I'm like, what the hell, D&D? It's so nerdy. And not like a wizard cape. It wasn't like Superman, but it was like very dramatic. Like, he's clearly dressing up to go somewhere. And so that was my first impression of what D&D is. And then I think after that was like watching Stranger Things. In the first episode of Stranger Things, the little kids are like playing D&D. And then my third impression was Edison at PAX. He like ditched me to go play D&D. And I was like, D&D? Isn't that super nerdy game? He's like, oh, I love D&D. And I was like, okay, have fun. He's like, you want to play? And I was like, no, I'll pass. Not really my thing. Looks very complicated. So I really only decided to give it a chance when Lily asked. And I was like, yeah, if Lily asked me to play, I'll play anything. So that was that. And now I'm really excited to dive into it. Things that are nerdy, they're not even nerdy, you know? Like, or it's fine. Like, I've given so many, I'm really happy. I rant about this a lot, but I'm just very happy in general about giving things that I would never have done a chance. Like, really things I would never have done. Like, RPing sounds just so anxiety inducing, and it still is anxiety inducing, but the more you do it, the more it really just becomes easier. And I realized it's okay to flub up or mess up a scene. Like, no one's gonna, like, worst case, people are like, lol, and you move on, and then you messed up and you realize it's not that bad to mess up. Seeking, yeah, it's actively, like, I'm signing myself up to do things that I'm just very uncomfortable with. But I will say chat makes everything better, so it is a bit like, sometimes when I'm playing D&D, I'm like, what should I say? I wish I had my chat with me to ask this and ask that. I would go LARPing. Yeah, I'd LARP. I judged LARPing when I was in college. I walked by those kids and I was like, you know, but I would try it. I would think I would try everything at this point. After doing D&D and GTA and having them be some really great experiences, I think I'd do it. I think I'd probably be good at LARPing. I don't know if I'd be a furry, but don't knock it till you try it. I think.